Hey there, YouTube swingers. This is Howie, and for this video, I just wanted to hopefully briefly go over my Excel sheets and sort of show you the breakdown of how I'm tracking my trades. This is, again, something I just set up on my own over the last couple of weeks, and it's subject to lots of changes. I'm always making little adjustments to it pretty much every day, maybe adding some information to it, some tracking stuff, but this will show you sort of what I'm working with right now. So first, I just made this little average days in the market. So I have my entry date. We'll just take the very first stock, and then my sell date. If I scroll over here, January 21st, and then this little ABS A10 minus T10 just says look at this uh, and then compare it to this and spit out how many days it was in the market. So you can see a couple of them I got stopped out not even on the same day, which is probably not a high enough stop loss. And then some of them lasted 8, 9, 10 days. Some of them just a couple. But that will give me my average days in market just for information. Obviously, just bankroll information. Started with 522, currently at 551. Overall profit loss. And then this is sort of, we have two main numbers here. This is the profit on stocks that I'm out of. So anything that's either green or red on here are stocks that have sold. And then this is the overall profit or loss on those stocks, as well as the percentage on the entire account. So right now the entire account is up 5.18%. And again, started on January 13th. We're now near the end of January. Over here we have NASDAQ compare. It's very important for me to be beating like an index fund on the NASDAQ. If I can't do that, well, what's the point of taking all this time and effort to swing trading? So right now, since the beginning of, or since January 13th, the NASDAQ is up 0.82%, which is an excellent, if you look up here, a super long Google sheet. I just said I wanted Chat GPT to look at the NASDAQ and start on the date of January 13th and then go until today's date at close, and that gives me the profit and loss for the NASDAQ during that period of time. And then this, I simply take my profit and loss, compare it to the profit and loss NASDAQ, and that's the result. So I am up 4.36% compared to the NASDAQ. This live are stocks that I'm currently active in, so you can see anything that has a number down here. This one is live. These guys are live. This one, this one, this one, and this one. All these I purchased today, and that's sort of what they're doing right now. I mean, this is Google, so the tickers are going to be, I don't know, half an hour behind, so it's not up to the minute accurate, but I'm not day trading, so I don't really care to watch it minute by minute. And then over on the right hand side, what is this 4200? Let me just look here. This is how much money I would be up if I just put it all in an index fund on the NASDAQ, assuming no sort of trading costs or anything. And this is how much money I'm up compared to the NASDAQ. So again, it's fairly simple math. If the NASDAQ's up 0.82% and I started with 522K, that would be $4,000 profit because I'm up 28K, which is 24K more than what I'd be up with the NASDAQ. That's sort of my bottom dollar growth relative to the NASDAQ. So those are all the top informations, that's a made up word. And then down here, we've just got the stocks, the entry point, the ticker. This is something I've also been experimenting with, whether I'm limit entering the trade versus trading on market. So either just buying the stock or setting up a purchase price. I don't have the answer to what I like to do here. I'm leaning towards market, but anyway. This is like the exit plan. I just started messing around with trailing stop losses right on entry. I don't know if I'm going to continue that. But for now, I'm trying it a little bit. The TPSL just means, what does that mean? Take profit and stop loss. So if I'm buying a stock at $10, I'll set the take profit at $12. I'll set the stop loss at $9 and sort of go from there. This is how many units of the stock I purchased, the buying, what I got into the market at, my sort of target to sell. And you can see this only goes here because when I do a trailing stop loss, there is no real up target. It's just going to hopefully go as high as it can until it sells and hits the trailing stop loss. And these are my stop losses that I put for these trades. And this just relates this number to a percentage. And you can see I'm already noticing like my very first trade ever had a 16% stop loss percentage, which is a little extreme. Like, I don't think that's a good play. And then some of these had tiny stop losses, 3.6%. So even just in the first couple weeks, I'm noticing some small mistakes I'm making. Like this PCT on January 12th had a 2.9% stop loss. So clearly I got stopped out of it at some point. I got stopped out at 922. It's down right now, but it was still within the range of my trade. So I probably should have had my stop a little bit less aggressive there. So this is my stop loss percentage. This is the value of the stock in the current moment. I will start deleting these on stocks that I'm already out of, but for the beginning of this experiment or this knowledge, I do want to look and see, okay, NVIDIA, I bought at 130 on the 13th. I sold it for 146. So I made a profit at 12.3K. So it's now 117. So that is a good chunk below, you know, my stop loss. So that's good to see. That was a good time to get out. This guy bought it at 714, stop loss 688. It's below my stop loss still many days later. This guy was a win, bought at 107, sold at 114. It's currently 106. So that's, again, it's within my stop loss, but it's still down from my purchase price, and etc. So I won't go through all these. Eventually I'll delete the ones that I'm not active in. So basically the ones I'm active in, you can see are ones that are white. So KINS, I bought on the 22nd. It's currently 14.72, bought at 15.24. I got a stop on at 13.24 and a sell at target at 17. So right now it's down 15.60. Then I also have these dollar amounts, so goal profit and max loss. So again, these are kind of ridiculous. Like I shouldn't have a goal and a max loss that are the same. I think most strategies will be more looking like something like this. Profit of 57, max loss of 28. You want a range here. You want to have a higher number in the profit than the loss. But again, this is stuff I'm working through. I'm figuring it out as we go. We can figure it out together. And then these are all live trades. So again, this one I grabbed on last week. It's just got a trailing stop loss on it. I'm really curious about this one because it actually was up close to, I'm going to say 15%. Like this profit might have been 5 grand, 4,500, maybe 6 grand on Thursday or Friday, and it's come down quite a bit, but it's just got a trailer stop loss on it. So I'm not sure about this one. And this is another one that ended up selling out basically break even at 14.70. I just put a trailing stop loss right when I bought it, and it went up a decent amount, but then dipped back down. So it sort of broke me even on the trade. I mean, it's pink, but it's $14. So it's essentially break even right here. So I don't know. It did stop me off out at 33, and it's currently trading like 70 cents below that. So I guess that's a good thing. But again, learning, understanding stop losses and all that stuff. And then over here we have the cost. I started off thinking I want to have 5 trades going at a time just to keep things simple. So I thought about a 20% per trade investment made sense. So I was doing about 100,000 per trade. I've tweaked it a little bit. I think I'm okay being a bit more active. So most of my trades are going to be in the 50 grand range instead of 100 grand. Just putting about 10% of the bankroll in play per trade. I think the math works out. So if you have I'll bring a calculator up here. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but if I put 10% of the bankroll in play, and I have a maximum stop loss of 10% on that. Well, I guess that's super easy math. That means any given loss maximum would be 1%. So I just read something interesting where a dude was saying that he knows that he wins about 50% of his trades. So over a long period of time, it will be common or likely that at some point he will have 10 losers in a row. So 10 losers in a row could be, 10 of your trades getting stopped out on the same day. So he wants to have a maximum risk on that scenario. So in my situation, if I had a 1% risk per trade, and I did have a day where I got stopped out of 10 stocks at once, the most I would lose is from my entire bankroll would be 10%, which is huge, but that's sort of a worst case scenario thing. So I do for now like the idea of a smaller entry, just coming in for 5% of the bankroll per trade. And because I'm early and I'm excited and this is all new and interesting, I want to be active. So I will stick with this 50,000 or 10% of my bankroll per trade. Over here, we just have the dollar amounts of goal profit and loss. It's a little trickier when these ones are trailing stops because there really isn't a goal profit or a max loss. Like I guess in theory, the max loss is always going to be your buy minus your trailing stop loss. But I haven't populated those numbers yet. And then obviously the sell price of all the stocks to date and the profit and loss per stock to date. I'm messing around with some other stuff, profit and loss percentages. I got to continue to work on that. Over here we've got the trading fees, which are just going to be like 10 bucks each way. So I'm going to put minus $20 for one of my trades. Again, I talked about this a little bit, the sold date, the days in market. So these are all things. I'm probably going to add some sort of like why I got into the trade, like a little short form as to what got me into the trade in the first place. Between some of the different strategies I've been working through, whether it be a candle situation or a volume situation, just to sort of give me a little bit of like looking in back and maybe being able to pick out some spots where, okay, the last 15 times I used this as my methodology to get into a stock, 13 of them I got stopped out. So maybe I want to slow down on using that particular system. So anyway, I've talked a lot. I think that's about it. Feel free to post any questions or suggestions, anything I could add to my little chart here to make it easier or better or smoother. I'm really digging the live price stuff that Google offers. This is pretty sweet and pretty easy to set up. It's just this Google Finance thing, and then it's looking at the ticker over here and then pulling it live. So I think that's it. Yeah, thanks for watching or listening or watching and listening.